Hello and welcome to our latest US2U Consulting Podcast, which today is all about developing your sales performance. Some of you may have already heard our previous podcast, which is about mental health in the workplace, and understand that our goal with these podcasts is to update and to inform you, to give you top tips and advice to help you run your businesses even better. As you probably understand as well, at US2U Consulting, our strapline is that we guarantee to make a positive difference. So I do hope you find this very useful for you. Any management related questions, do get in touch. You can email me at rachelb@us2consulting.com. That's Rachel, RACHELB, at US2U Consulting.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at US2U Consulting. Have a look at our website and subscribe to our channel. So for our podcast on developing great sales performance, I am delighted today. We are joined by Steve Thurlow, one of our newer members to US2U Consulting, who's going to be talking us through some of his top tips and advice and so on, so we can all learn and become more informed. I guess a great place to start is to say, Steve, tell us more about your background and your experience.
Thank you, Rachel. Great to be here. Well, for 25 years I've worked with one of the world's largest sales and negotiation consultancies, working with companies of all sizes across most sectors, ranging from multinational corporations to tech startups, SMEs and micro businesses. And what I do is I work with people mostly in B2B, high value sales environments, but also with individuals from not-for-profits or social enterprises who need to sell, persuade and negotiate. And that's what I do. I help people to sell, persuade, negotiate, presentations, proposals, and the leadership and coaching that goes around that. So I help people to do that. The most important thing is everything I do is tailor-made and designed to deliver the client's desired business outcomes.
Brilliant, that's really interesting. And what bits are you particularly passionate about, Steve, when it comes to actually supporting businesses?
What gets me so frustrated is there are so many companies out there that have absolutely fantastic products and services and they're just not very good at selling them. And especially when they move away from the startup phase. In the beginning they sell to family and friends, like-minded individuals, and that's great. But the minute they start selling to larger, more professional organisations, that they begin to flounder. And it just frustrates me. I hate to see talented, hard-working people failing to realise their potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can understand that. And helping people to reach their potential is something I know we're all passionate about being able to do. And I noticed in terms of what you can do to help organisations, there are 5 main things. The first one is business development consultancy.
That's right.
So it'd be really interesting to find out more about business development consultancy, what that involves, how you go about doing that with clients and so on.
Okay, well, it starts with a methodology for examining how effective a sales organisation is. And that basically has 4 elements. Your sales strategy, which is your route to market, your marketing mix, your pricing, your product mix, all the things that you are putting out there. The second thing is your sales environment. So that's things like your market, your competitors, any regulatory limitations there might be. The third element is your sales process, which is things like your supporting systems, your management structure, your coaching regime if you have one. And finally, there's the skills of your actual salespeople. And the key is those 4 things have to be aligned. If you think about it, in the last 12 months, everybody's sales environment has been knocked out of kilter by coronavirus. Mm. And in reality, what people have actually been doing for the last year is trying to realign their whole business model around a new sales environment. And that's what we've all been doing. My role as a business development consultant is to make sure that happens, make sure your sales force is fit for purpose, and your team are realising their potential. What that actually looks like depends very much on where you are now and where you want to be.
That's good. Then you've got a particular example of a piece of work that you've done which has helped people to realise their potential.
Well, I think you see it all the time. Very recently I was working with an organisation that provides private health services, and the people within that organisation know that the NHS can't provide the services they can provide in an efficient way. However, because they've all worked in the NHS, they all know that, and they think the customers know that too. But of course, they don't. The customers think, I can get it free on the NHS. So an organisation they were disregarding as being a competitor was actually the biggest competitor they had. And just revealing that enabled them to say, yeah, we have to treat the NHS as a competition because our customers think they are.
Oh, that's really interesting. And you mentioned a couple of times there about the importance of being able to coach people. When you're working with clients, what have you seen have been the priority areas that have come up when you've done some coaching?
When it comes to sales, the biggest problem with coaching is it just doesn't happen. The problem is coaching is normally the responsibility of sales managers, who have usually been recruited out of the sales team. So they have no management experience, they certainly have no coaching experience, and they usually still have their own customers. So they just don't have time to do it. And the problem with that is sales is a lagging indicator. You only know if you've done a good job if you win or lose a sale. And if you're not being coached, you don't know until it's too late. So by having sales coaching during the sales process, you can uncover mistakes earlier, rectify them, and win orders that you would otherwise lose.
So yeah, that's really interesting, Steve. So I guess the next area I want to uncover a bit more about is where you talk about the hidden sales force. Now this sounds very fascinating, very secretive, the fact that organisations have this hidden sales force. So maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, it's a hidden sales force because the sales organisations don't realise they've got it. And it's about your service people, the people who go out there, maintain, install and support the services you sell. For years now, salespeople have been finding it more and more difficult to get face-to-face or even voice-to-voice with their real customers, the people who use their products and services. The service people, and that could be anybody from a service engineer to a nurse practitioner to an audit assistant, they all have direct access to your clients all the time. And the key is not to try and turn those people into salespeople, but to turn them into the eyes and the ears of the sales force. When an engineer sees a piece of equipment that keeps breaking down, they shouldn't carry on mending it, they should go and tell the sales team about it.
Yeah, excellent point there. So I guess it's a chance for everyone to sit back and think about their own hidden sales force. They may have other potential within the organisation that could be leading to further sales that are currently being missed. That's a really good point. I know another area that you specialise in helping organisations with is when it comes to bidding for new contracts. So that's quite a specialist subject there, isn't it? So tell us your key bits of advice, if you like, when it comes to people putting bids in.
My first bit of advice is start to prepare your bid the day you get it. So what, most bids have a deadline for submission, and most people leave it until the last minute to write their bid. Why put yourself under that pressure? I regularly I aim to get my bids in the day before the deadline, and I'm told time and time again, mine's the first one, with 24 hours left. So that means everybody else is under pressure. The most important thing, however, is the bid document needs to be persuasive. It will be read by people who you won't get to see, possibly the most influential decision makers, so it's your only chance to have an impact on them. So it has to be persuasive. It's not about you and your solutions. But sadly, most bids I see are just personalised brochures. Content should be about how you deliver the outcomes the customers want and the value they'll get from it. I once saw a 200-page bid response and it had half a page on what the customer wanted. The rest was just technical bump. Crazy.
All right, okay, so that's some really good advice there for anybody thinking of putting bids in to get new business. No, that's really interesting, Steve. So if we go on to another area that you specialise in, which is around the whole area of negotiation skills, helping people to fine-tune their negotiation skills when it comes to securing contracts, etc. So tell us a bit more about how you approach that, the kind of models, frameworks that you use when it comes to negotiation skills.
Yeah, I use internationally respected models which cover preparation and planning, strategies and tactics, and the skills that negotiators use. It's a model that's been derived from live observation of real-world negotiations over 40 years. So it's a very, very robust model. And it's produced some quite fascinating findings. For example, we often think that selling and buying are the opposite sides of the same coin. But when it comes to negotiating, skilled negotiators use the same behaviours. Whether they're on the buying side or the selling side, they do things exactly the same. And another sort of slightly whimsical example, we often think good negotiators have a poker face. They keep their things hidden. Absolutely nonsense. The research shows skilled negotiators actually talk more about their emotions and feelings than unskilled negotiators do.
Oh, that's really interesting. So some of the assumptions made might not actually be true, so you can help people understand that. And that's good. And then I think finally there's something else that you think as well that people should be doing to actually engage with their customers at the moment.
Well, I think, yes, I mean, it is a different time to, we have this new normal, whatever it might be. And I think this year, more than ever, customers will be actively looking for low-risk solutions that deliver maximum value. So many companies just can't afford to make buying decisions without a cast-iron certainty they will get a return on their investment. So successful organisations will be those that can effectively articulate a tailor-made personal value proposition for every member of the decision-making team every time.
Oh, that's good. So you can help organisations kind of pinpoint who those decision makers are
and what that value proposition is, because it's different for different people.
And that's really interesting. And then finally, I guess, Steve, we started off saying that everything at US2U Consulting is about guaranteeing to make a positive difference. If there's one thing you would like people to think about and take away so that they can make a positive difference, what would that thing be?
Yeah. Selling is not about you. Selling is about the customer. So the biggest mistake most sales organisations and salespeople make is front of brain all the time is their solution. Front of brain all the time has to be the customer, what value they perceive from your solution, and the desired outcomes that they're seeking, because that's how you're effective in sales.
Oh, brilliant. And on that note then, we do hope that you found this podcast to be very interesting, informative and educational from your point of view. Please do get in touch to find out more about how we can help you have a great year in terms of business success. Do get in touch with me at my email address, rachelb@us2uconsulting.com. You can follow us on Twitter at US2U Consulting. Have a look at the website and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.